And it's IGL Weekly time, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Tomorrow's broadcasters today. We'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. I'm Sean Brown alongside my partner, Johnny V. Welcome to the IGL.
How's it going, Sean?
It's going well, and particularly I'm very satisfied that CSB has renewed their partnership with the IGL. I was part of the 2013 season, and I'm very, very satisfied to be back and covering all the action of the 2016 season.
Yeah, Sean, I'm really excited to work on this project, work with the IGL. We were out there yesterday on the field in the Pinelands, and Sean, we got to watch football in spring, man. It's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. And, the fans are really hungry about what the IGL is all about. So for more on that, let's go to our CSB colleague, Matt Rabbit.
Thanks, Sean and Johnny. I'm Matt Rabbit, and right now I'm going to give you all a quick breakdown of the IGL and how it works. The IGL started as a developmental league in 2012. This year, the league will consist of 6 teams. There are 8 weeks in the regular season, so every team will match up against each other twice. This puts a high level of importance on each and every game when it comes to playoffs. Everyone has to get their start somewhere, and the IGL is a jumping off point for many of these players. Commissioner Adam Turkle has put a major emphasis on clean play and character building as both men and football players. That is what the IGL is all about. Before the first game kicked off this past Saturday, the CSB crew was invited to Throwbacks Bar and Grill in Philly for a meet and greet session where members of the CSB crew were able to interview some of the players. And just a reminder, every interview that was given will be available to view on the IGL YouTube channel later in the week. But for now, here are a few clips.
Josh Henshaw from the New Jersey Nightmare.
What kind of expectations and goals do you have for yourself having your first year in Arena?
Well, obviously, the goal every single year coming out is going to be to win the championship. But for myself is to maintain a good percentage kicking, meaning over 90%.
How do you think your team's going to do this season?
I think we're going to be great. Seeing the guys at practice, we've been a very strong team so far. There's a lot of heart and a lot of guys that really think that they've been passed over, that want to be able to go out onto the field and prove themselves.
You like IGL football?
I love IGL football.
Are you looking to have the league take you to bigger and better places?
I'm definitely looking to progress. I want to see what teams are interested in me, what teams I can spread my interest in. I'm really willing to play anywhere because as far as football goes, with me, color doesn't matter. It's just what matters to me most is playing with that ball in my hand.
Daniel Soto. I play for Philadelphia Revolution.
What are you most looking forward to about this season?
To get back into playing football and possibly win a championship.
What do you think is going to be the outcome for the Revolution this season, and what are your goals?
We're winning a championship this year.
Winning a championship
we have a
this
pretty
year?
good, strong team. We're winning it.
Julian, I really am a big fan of your hat. Any chance we're going to see this out on the field?
Oh, yes. You got every game.
Yeah, every game.
And then you got to impress on the field. Because it's my first season, I want to make a name for myself, a positive name for myself. I want to go out there and be the best player that I can be for my team and try to represent the league the best way that I can.
Okay. And how do you think your team's going to do?
Very well.
Very well?
Very well. Dominate. We're going to dominate.
Dominate. Okay,
Yes.
well, good luck to you guys in the upcoming season.
Yeah, that was a really excellent event. And really enjoyed meeting the players and coaches that showed up. Now back to you guys at the desk, Johnny and Sean.
All right, and thank you very much for that, Matt. And now that the fans know a little bit more about the Indoor Gridiron League, what do you say we get into the game? Our first game, the Delco Mustangs and the Philadelphia Revolution, and what turned out to be a very lopsided affair.
Absolutely. Let's get this thing fired up.
So to start, we noticed at the top, before the game even started, Delco coach O'Branty had a strong message for one of his players.
Yeah, he pulled the quarterback aside. He had some choice words for him, just calming him down going into the game. And at the end of it, though, the most important thing he said was go out there and have fun. So coaches were coaching right off the bat. He was setting up his player for success, and it seemed to work.
And that's so important because you need your players to be loose before the game so that they can go out there and hit on all cylinders. Did it work is the question. And it did work in the beginning as the Mustangs had a very successful first drive until they got down to the goal line, and that's where they stalled.
They dinked and dunked their way down to the goal line, but after a bad snap, Philly takes over. They recover the fumble. So they took over. And
but the question is, could the Revolution capitalize off that turnover?
They could not, and they could not the whole game, really. And it started with the running game. We're talking about 10 rushes for -9 yards. They couldn't get off the ball at all.
So you're basically talking about an anemic offense here. The running game was non-existent for the Revolution. Why was that the case?
For me, the answer is simply that Delco D-line. Duke Chilton, Howard Edwards, Kareem Moore were killing it all day long. You couldn't stop these guys with a brick wall.
So basically they were penetrating the line the
Absolutely.
entire game, blowing the offensive line off the ball.
Halfway through the second quarter, they were asking for holding calls, but even that wasn't working. They were in the quarterback's grill all game long.
So the Revolution offensive line needs to gel a little bit. There was no scoring in the first quarter of this game, but that would change in the second.
It sure would. We have a deep ball, a 30-yard touchdown to get the scoring started for the Delco Mustangs. After that, the game started getting a little chippy, a little trash talk, a little late hits, a little, jawing back and forth between the sidelines. The referees had to get involved and send out a warning to the sidelines.
So 2 scores for Delco in the second quarter, and then, as you mentioned, the game got a little chippy. Why did it get out of hand?
I think frustration started to set in. I think, as we were talking about, Philadelphia was sputtering on all ends. Their defense started to break down a little bit. So guys started getting at each other's throats a little bit. It's week 1. You're still gelling. Did
you get the impression that the Mustangs were looking for some penalty calls and they weren't getting any help from the refs?
They weren't, but quite frankly, they didn't need it. They were just the more dominant team in this one.
Okay, so 16-0, the score, Delco Mustangs at the half, and that brings us to intermission. At that point, the Revolution changed quarterbacks. What happened?
That's right, they did.
Did it work?
Quarterbacks, and it backfired right in their face there, Sean. First play from scrimmage is a pick 6. No one is going to catch them. A touchdown, and this one, that blew the game wide open.
In essence, it did. And so at this point, we definitely noticed that there seemed to be a lot of fired up Mustangs on the sideline. What was going on there? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, you heard chants from the sideline, let's go Mustangs. The players were rooting for each other. The players were really pumped up, talking about where they're going, what their goals are for the season.
Perhaps a statement.
They're trying to make a statement. They're ready to show the whole league what Delco Mustang football is about.
Unfortunately, no scoring to talk about for the Philadelphia Revolution. The final score of the game was 28-0. But at the conclusion of the game, Coach Carr had a message for his Philadelphia Revolution. Why don't you tell the fans out there what happened?
He tried to send an inspirational message. He brought the team towards the scoreboard, under it. He kept gesturing to the scoreboard, essentially sending the message that this is unacceptable. It's a long season. You got 9 more games to go. There is time to fix it, and it starts now.
Do you think that message will get through?
They better hope so, Sean.
All right, well, we'll see what they can do next week. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but right now, it's rabbit hole time. Let's cut to our colleague, Matt Rabbit, with the stats from this game.
Thanks, guys, at the desk. Let's jump right into Game 1 stats. For the Mustangs offense, number 1 quarterback, Tyreek Smith, went 6 for 11 in passing attempts with 151 total yards with 3 TDs. The only trouble the Stangs offense had was converting on their 2-point conversions, where they went 0 for 4. Moving on to the defense, though, the Stangs definitely showed up Saturday with a team total 3 safeties, 5 sacks, and 1 interception that was returned for a touchdown. They only allowed 41 total yards to the Revolution. The Revolution's offense tried out 3 different QBs that combined for only 2 of 11 passing attempts with a total of 50 yards through the air. The Revolution total -9 yards on 10 rushing attempts. So that's something they'll have to work on for next Saturday. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Many thanks to our chief statistician, Matt Rabbit, with those game statistics. But this game had a bigger meaning than just a W.
You're absolutely right, Sean. I had a chance to talk with Coach O'Brany of the Delco Mustangs, and he talked about his team's motivation coming into this one. And John Vornavakis here, CSB Sports, with the head coach of the Delco Mustangs, coming off a huge win. Coach, what was the secret to today's game?
Today's secret actually was April 2nd. A lot of people don't know that it's Autism Day, and that's what we represent, autism. And that was the big secret. And the other secret is a lot of these guys didn't know who played for us and who didn't play for us.
It was a dominant performance, a 28-0 win, and most notably, your defense was all over their offensive line. What can you say about your D-line?
Well, my D-line is great, but you can't do it without your defensive coaches. And we've been together for about 20 years now. Coach John, Coach Clayton, the defensive coaches is really good, and they always know how to put things together and put it in perspective where we need to be.
your players were jacked up. I was hearing them on the sidelines there, and they're talking about they have big dreams for tonight. What are your goals for this season going forward?
Goals for our season to take one game at a time, but the most important goal is the autism for the kids. I'm going to preach that no matter what, because that's what the Mustangs is really about. This is the first time I ever said this is football second, but autism is first, and that's what the season is all about. Win, draw, or lose. It's about the kids and the autism that we're looking forward to be a part of.
That's great words, Coach. Last thing, what was your message to the team just now coming off the field?
The message is that there was one game. Enjoy it. Let's get back to work on Tuesday, and don't forget autism.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank
Good
you.
luck the rest of the season.
All right.
Powerful message, and it certainly is a great cause. All right, from one lopsided affair to another, when we come back, we will break down all the action between the Nightmare and the Fury as CSB's IGL Weekly continues right after this.
So you've been thinking about changing careers. Well, now is the perfect time to check out Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Almost everything you hear on the radio, everything you see on television and on the internet was made by a creative team of audio and video professionals. Connecticut School of Broadcasting can help you switch from your current career path to the more exciting world of audio and video production. Come in and see what a career in broadcasting is like and see if it's right for you.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting has a campus right here in Cherry Hill. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or visit GoCSB.com.
All right, so apparently the New Jersey Nightmares objected to this turnover and this score, and they had some fighting words.
That's right. Travis Davis looked right at that Delaware bench, and he said, hey, that's all you guys are getting. That's all you guys are getting. He repeated himself, and he was almost right.
He was almost accurate with that one. But the Nightmare came right back with a score of their own.
That's right, and it was our boy Dijon Thomas. This dude is a problem, Sean.
He is a problem. He is, in fact, a nightmare. And we'll talk a little bit more about him later. Talk to me a little bit about the Nightmare pass rush. It was very fierce in this game.
They kept firing. The offensive line of the Fury were big, and they were blocking well, but these guys just kept firing at them, man. They were in the quarterback's face all game long, much like the first game.
And then we had another score for New Jersey. Quarterback number 4 of the Nightmare, Henshaw, making plays with his legs. He indeed make it happen. He is a very mobile quarterback.
He did. He's a very good athlete. Tall. He's got speed. He sees the field real well. He can make time for himself in the backfield if he needs to. He's a real weapon.
Yeah, we saw him hook up again with Dijon Thomas in this game. On to the second quarter. It was a nightmare for the Fury, with 2 defensive scores for the Nightmare.
That's right. The defense kept making plays. They have athletes over there, and they're not afraid to use them. We had an interception for a touchdown, as well as a fumble recovery taken all the way back, another one by New Jersey.
Now, going into halftime, we had a 24-6 New Jersey lead, and apparently there were some players on the Fury that really let the scoreboard get to them.
You could see the frustration boiling over. A couple players throwing helmets, guys yelling at each other in the huddle. It piled up for them here in this one.
All right, and after halftime, coming out in the third quarter, New Jersey scores right away, and a hook up from Henshaw to wide receiver Dijon Thomas.
What a surprise.
Who scored 20 of the 46 points that the Fury, 20 of the 46 points that the Nightmare had in this game.
You can't stop this dude, man.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about Dijon for a minute. Back in 2013, he played for the New Jersey Bulldogs at that time, right. And he was one of the most dominant forces in the IGL, and still to this day, fast forward 3 years later, he is still wreaking havoc on opposing team secondaries.
You talk about size, you talk about speed, you talk about athleticism. I mean, this guy can make me look like a good quarterback. I'll just toss it up to him, Sean.
Yeah, and not to mention he has a little pizzazz,
He does.
Hot dog. Is that the word that you used?
He likes to show the crowd that he's a talented guy.
All right, so the Fury will get on the board before the end of the third quarter, cutting the lead to 30-12 heading into the fourth quarter.
And it started to pick up the
momentum
sideline
change, perhaps?
A little bit. The sideline woke up a little bit. They kind of started to crawl back into the game, but it just wasn't enough.
So what happened to start the fourth quarter?
Well, I know this might come as a shock to you, but Dijon Thomas again gets into the end zone. And right after that, the Fury turned the ball over, another interception that is also returned for a touchdown. That put this one in the books.
And that was number 1, Travis Davis there with the score for the defense on New Jersey's side.
The one who had a lot to say early on in the game, and he backed it up.
Yeah, so final score, New Jersey 46, Delaware Fury 12. And for a little bit more inside statistics on the game. Let's go to CSB's Matt Rabbit in the rabbit hole.
Thanks, guys. Let's get into the start of Nightmares offense stats. Number 4, quarterback Josh Henshaw converted 50% of his passes for 91 yards and 3 TDs. 2 of those TDs went to wide receiver number 14, Deshaun Thomas, who finished the game with 5 receptions. The third TD went to number 1, Travis Davis, who had 30 yards on 3 receptions. Now for the Furies defense, they played a little better than the scoreboard reflected, coming up with 2 turnovers, and one of those was a forced fumble that was run all the way back for a touchdown. So now back to you guys at the desk.
Okay, and obviously a blowout loss for the Fury, and some of their players took it personal. One player in particular, number 4 defensive back Tavon White. Here he is with CSB's Rebecca Bookbinder.
Hi, I'm Rebecca for CSB Sports, and I am joined by number 4 of the Delaware Fury. Not the desired outcome for this game. What are you feeling afterwards?
Definitely a lot of hurt, a lot of regret. We should have practiced harder, should have worked harder. Definitely, game should have turned out a lot different. I mean, we worked hard. Only thing I can really say is to come out next week and work harder.
So you got both a sack and a tackle for this game. What were you thinking during those plays?
I was really just trying to go out and make plays for my team so we could capitalize on those plays. That's really my main focus. It doesn't matter where they put me.
What is your personal goal as far as improvement for performance next week?
As far as I want to be able to click better with my team. A lot of us are trying to play ego football instead of playing team football. So I want to get everybody together and play on the same. We click on the same accord and fire on all cylinders so we can play the game well.
Thank you so much. Good luck next week. For CSB, I'm Rebecca Bookbinder.
Strong words there, Johnny, from Tavon White as he emphasizes team, playing harder and working harder. We'll see if they can rebound next week in the battle of the unbeatens against the Revolution.
Absolutely. They better get something figured out, and they better get it figured out quickly. Hey, stick around. We got more football to cover after this as we'll look at the Steelers matchup against the Vikings.
So you've been thinking about changing careers? Well, now is the perfect time to check out Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Almost everything you hear on the radio, everything you see on television and on the internet was made by a creative team of audio and video professionals. Connecticut School of Broadcasting can help you switch from your current career path to the more exciting world of audio and video production. Come in and see what a career in broadcasting is like and see if it's right for you.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting has a campus right here in Cherry Hill. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or visit GoCSB.com.
And welcome back to IGL Weekly, powered by CSB-Cherry Hill, Sean Brown and Johnny V. And we start with our third matchup of the week, another lopsided game. Do you see a common theme developing here?
I sure do, and it was unfortunate. But listen, the Vikings came out. They were organized. They were pumped up in drills. They were very clean.
But did it translate to the field?
It certainly did not. They came into the game missing their starting quarterback, Hill Spearman. And that's just a problem that loomed large throughout the entire game. They really couldn't get off the floor.
Yeah, your quarterback, in essence, is your field general. If you don't have him, that could definitely affect the entire game plan offensively. Steelers D look like the steel curtain in this game.
I'll tell you what else can bother an offense other than missing your starting quarterback. Getting drilled on every play. This Steelers team came out laying the wood. They would not stop. They were popping, man.
Was that your comment, laying the wood, or did that come from somewhere?
You know what? I think I may have heard it somewhere. Somewhere before.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Now, before the Vikings could blink, it was 22-0. How did that transpire?
It all happened in the first quarter. They were dealing with short fields. The defense was really holding up well, turning the ball over, and it made it easy on the Steelers' offense to just punch it in.
In addition to the defense, number 36, Steelers quarterback Jerry Davis had a strong game. He's got some wheels.
He got some wheels. He ran a touchdown in. He also threw for 3 touchdowns. He had this team moving.
Potential MVP candidate of the league. I know it's early on, but he looks like he's one of the star players of the IGL.
Sure, you could definitely make the argument for him. Absolutely.
Okay, so the key in this game, it was like we said, the score was very lopsided. Was takeaways. That seemed to be the common theme. The Vikings turned the ball over way too many times. You cannot win a football game when you turn the ball over.
And also the special teams contributed. There was good returns. I mean, the hitting goes on both sides. I mean, they were blocking well. They were just the more aggressive, more dominant team.
Yeah, so defense and efficient offensive play. led by Jerry Davis, the key to victory in this one. Final score of the game, Steelers win, going away 42-0.
Wasn't close.
No, it definitely wasn't. All right, but to get more stats, you know, the fans love stats. Let's go back to the rabbit hole again and our colleague at CSB, Matt Rabbit.
Thanks, guys. Let's start off with the Steelers offense. Quarterback Jerry Davis, number 36, had a monster game going 8 for 12, 95 passing yards, and 3 TDs, in addition to 3 rushes for 50 yards and another TD. Number 30, Cameron LaSalle, had 3 rushes for 32 yards and 2 TDs. Now going on to the Steelers defense, number 32, Tim Young, led the team with 3 tackles, 3 sacks, and a fumble recovery. He was a monster. The Steelers defensive unit in total held the Vikings offense to just 34 yards. Going to the Vikings offense, they had a little trouble with their backup quarterback in. Number 3 went 1 for 8 for only 7 yards passing and 1 interception and 3 fumbles. Now the offense was having trouble getting their timing down week 1 with 7 penalties for a loss of 35 yards. 5 of those penalties were false starts. So let's see next week when they get their starting quarterback if that helps out at all. The Vikings defense allowed 140 total yards with no turnovers and no sacks, so I'm sure that factored into the final score. Now back to you guys at the desk.
And now it's time to name our CSB MVPs for Week 1, and I'll start on defense, where Tim Young of the Conshohocken Steelers tore it up this week. 3 tackles, 3 sacks, a fumble recovery for the Steelers. He was all over the place. Let's hear from him now before the game on his mentality coming in.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Bookbinder. I'm here for CSB, and I am joined by number 32 of the Conchi Steelers. Hi.
I'm great. We just had a great win. We blew them out, so I'm happy about it.
You've had some pretty hard-hitting hits during this game. What was going through your mind during each of them?
It was just hit. That's pretty much it. I mean, when you're out there, you're just running full speed and just trying to make sure you don't whiff on it and look stupid. But overall, yeah, just a good hit, I guess.
How do you brace yourself for such hard hits like that?
I honestly don't know. It's kind of just an instinct. It's just a reaction. I've been doing it for so long that it's just kind of second nature to me.
What are your goals to keep up the team's winning momentum for the season?
We just have to keep going like we were today. We were very crisp with our routes, with our defense. Everything was very on point. So I was happy with everything, and we just have to keep practicing hard. I know we coming in here, we don't have a lot of guys. We're not a team like them or a lot of these other ones that were here earlier today that have a full roster. We're running on maybe 15, but we're a hard-working 15, and we're happy that we came out with a win.
Thank you, Tim, again. Congratulations on the win today for CSB. I'm Rebecca Bookbinder.
All right, and my offensive MVP of the week from the New Jersey Nightmare, Dijon Thomas. He had 3 scores in the game. He's the leader of the Nightmare and perhaps one of the best football players in the entire IGL. He wreaked havoc when he was a Bulldog. He's doing it as a Nightmare player. Dijon Thomas, he is the MVP. All right, now we're going to go to this interview as Dijon Thomas reveals his secret to success on the field.
CSB Sports, I'm with Dijon Thomas to start the game. He had two-point conversions and 2 touchdowns. He was all over the field, had an interception. How you feel going into that first game?
First game of the season, and developmentally and everything like that. Out here, the team gave me opportunity to have fun with them. So came out there, executed my position and everything like that. Coach called a couple plays. They happened to go right. You know, I'm just there to make things happen for them. You know, they there to make things happen for me. Evidently, they gave me the opportunity.
What's your goal of the season?
Goal of the season: stay healthy and help teams win. That's it.
Made it look easy out there, man. Real easy. I mean, you're talented out there. So I just feel like, you know, just stay as a team and everything will go right.
Yes, sir.
You agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree. Time at practice, time at practice, and work hard with time, and more time at practice. That's all it takes, man. Timing. Arena football is timing. That's it.
Thank you very much.
No problem, man.
Good game. Congrats to the Nightmares. Thank you.
All right, if you do that, the results will show on the scoreboard. All right, now we're previewing our Week 2 games that will happen next week at the Pinelands in Vincenttown, New Jersey. First game on the docket, the New Jersey Nightmare and the Vikings.
This one has a chance to get ugly, but the Vikings could get their starting quarterback back. Maybe this one becomes a good game.
Hopefully that gives the Vikings a boost. We have the Revolution and the Fury in the battle of the unbeatens. I should say the battle of the winless teams.
Yeah, one of these teams is going to get a win this week, get their season back on a little better track. Look forward to it.
And then we have CSB's matchup of the week between the Mustangs and the Steelers, which should be a hard-hitting affair.
That should be the game to watch. That's the game we're all excited about here in the studio.
All right, I think the common theme in week one, it was definitely about defense. A lot of the teams that won, it was predicated on defense. It was definitely a lot of scores that got out of hand. Hopefully we have some closer scores in week number 2 at the Pinelands.
Absolutely. They were decisive games. You knew who the better team was. It got out of hand late in the game in all 3 games. But it's week 1. It's expected. The teams are all still gelling. You can see these teams will improve throughout the season.
All right, one thing's for sure, we look forward to the action in week number 2. It's a great job for week number 1. Special thanks go out to the Indoor Gridiron League, Joe Kraus, the IGL Commissioner Adam Turkle, the IGL ProStars, and all the players and coaches. And many other thanks go out to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, Tom DeFranco, and the entire 2016 CSB IGL production team as we look to take it to the next level. Good working with you in week 1, partner.
Absolutely. Looking forward to doing it again.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for IGL Weekly. We'll see you right back here next time on the Connecticut School of Broadcasting presents IGL Weekly. So long, everybody.